So this is a continuation of the previous video. Water is going to be essential here too. Overall, we need water to feel well. It's also, great for having a healthy digestive system. It aids weight management. Sometimes if we feel really dehydrated, our bodies can actually get mixed up and think that we're hungry, so cravings might be increased. It promotes healthy skin, relieves fatigue. Sometimes people find it difficult to drink water, so I often say to add things like lemon, cucumber, even my waddies at times. If it means that you're gonna drink the water, then it's better to have it than not have it. There is lots of, low sugar my waddies and things out there that are fine to add to your waters. So sip as well, not to down it, because the likelihood is if you down it, you're just going to fill your bladder really quickly and be bursting to go to the toilet. So sipping encourages hydration more than downing it. So tea and coffee also contributed. So some people don't know whether or not tea and coffee contribute to their water for the day, but they do. Okay, so sleep then is my second magic supplement that I always say is the best of all. So aim for 7 to 9 per night. So 9 would obviously be on the higher end, and in an ideal world, we'd all want to get as much sleep as possible, but it just doesn't work like that. Sometimes we have kids, sometimes we have, night shifts, we have sick family members, whatever it may be, and it interrupts our sleep. So it is something to prioritize and try to prioritize if we are trying to, feel better, if we're trying to lose weight, if we're trying to gain muscle, whatever it may be. It is key because everything happens in our sleep. We recover in our sleep. We build muscle in our sleep, we lose weight in our sleep, everything happens in our sleep. So in order to get a good night's sleep, it's a great idea to limit caffeine, to maybe have a cut-off point for your caffeine intake. So perhaps that might be 1 or 2 p.m. in the day to make sure it's fully out of your system. Winding down as well is a critical part of it. So having a good pre-bed routine is very important. If we're on our phones right up until we go to sleep, or if we're on Netflix right up until we go to sleep, our brains are likely to be buzzing. So reading and things like that can be much better for us if we're trying to get a good night's rest. Meditation is also one that can be quite beneficial if you do struggle. So stress management is definitely up there as well. So stress is a huge part of it all, like a huge part of health in general, but it's a huge part of nutrition as well, because how we feel and how our mental health feels is going to reflect massively on the decisions we make around our nutrition. It's going to affect how, resilient we are. It's going to affect how motivated we are, and just so many things. So I always think start at the root, because if we don't know what's going on inside, then it's very difficult to put a, I suppose, to fix what's going on the outside. We may do it for a short period of time. We may lose weight initially, but if the root of it is starting inside, the likelihood is you're going to kind of go back to that place again. So I always say to people who feel they've gained weight, or for those of you who may be underweight, who are looking to gain weight, you're at where you're at for a reason, and sometimes that reason is more than just eating too much. Sometimes that reason is because you haven't dealt with something, or you have a difficult relationship in your life, or there's just something that's not sitting well with you, and you may have turned to food as your coping mechanism, or you may have lost your appetite because you're overly stressed. There's always kind of a root cause. So if you are going to go on the path of improving yourself physically, then it's really important to combine some mindset work. Now, I'm not a counselor and I'm not a therapist in any way, but it is always something that I encourage in my program. So whether that be meditation, journaling, just looking after yourself in terms of doing self-care, or if it means working with another professional in line with myself, working separately with professionals, but doing work on both, then it's a really good idea in order for the whole package to kind of come together. So if you are someone who struggles with stress, just be mindful that over time chronic stress can really be detrimental to your health. So to get a handle on it, exercise is a great one. Now, exercise is, it's a little bit complicated because if you're under stress and you do too much exercise, it's negative. It will cause negative impacts on you. Like if you're highly stressed and you do loads of HIIT training, it's going to make you even more stressed. Our body doesn't really process stress. Our body really processes stress in the same way. So if we do HIIT training or we're being chased by a gorilla, our body kind of does the same reactions. So it is damaging over time. So just if you are highly stressed, I would encourage you to do maybe low impact cardio, maybe brisk walks, which at some point, sometimes it can actually be very high. It depends, like if you're someone who's going to be brisk walking up a hill or whatever. So just be mindful not to push yourself too hard when you are feeling really stressed. At the other side of it, exercise is a relief for stress. So it is really good to do exercise if we're feeling stressed. But just know your cutoff point. If you can't handle much more stress, if you feel kind of at breaking point, then just be mindful, low impact stuff might be better for you. So avoid alcohol and caffeine, I would say definitely if you are in a stress state. So alcohol obviously is a antidepressant, or a depressant, sorry. It's an antidepressant when you're drinking it and a depressant after. Don't quote me on that. So I would say avoid it altogether if you are feeling highly stressed. It's just going to create a bigger problem for you. Caffeine also, obviously, it increases your heart rate, so it can make you feel really panicky at times if you feel quite stressed. Just to limit it, or maybe turn to decaf for a while if you do feel that it is an issue for you. Nutrition obviously is self-explanatory. In order to feel well and to have balanced everything, we need good nutrition. A poor diet can lead to ill health and additional stress, and that is very true. If we don't get the right amounts of nutrients, it can also affect our mental health. So priority management, daily to-do list, or begin journaling. So writing things down can work very well for people. Everyone's very different, but it can be very beneficial for some. Time to relax and pursue your own interests, and this is huge. So if you don't give yourself time to unwind, to deload your brain, you're going to kind of crash at some point. So it's very important to get that time in. Breathing and relaxation, so that's through meditation, massage, yoga can help. Breathing and relaxation techniques. So even breathing exercises are very beneficial, just to bring you back to reality and to be mindful. So talking, that it goes without saying, I suppose. We all know a problem shared is a problem halved, and that's very true. The more we let things build up, the more difficult it can be. So pick someone you trust to speak to. And acknowledge the signs. So it often presents as physical. So a lot of people who have bloating, for example, search for the answers. What is it that's triggering them? What food am I eating? It's very, very frustrating because you may never figure it out, but what it always comes back to is stress. So are you stressed? Is that what's causing the bloating? So if you are someone who's struggling to find the answer for IBS, it could very well be stress. So just be mindful of that also. So that is it for this video. This is a very brief overview. It can get a lot more in depth, and this is just my advice on it, my tips on it. Everyone is different, everyone has their own individual circumstances, and I understand that, and you should also understand that if you're watching it. These things can be adapted to suit everyone. People with certain medical conditions and things, it can be very different, but this is just a general overview of the advice I would give. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you next time.